from the lighter side of pest control. This is the Tales from the Crawl Space podcast with your hosts, Jack and Brad.
Well. If it isn't Jack and Brad, once again, with another spine-crushing episode of Tales from the Crawl Space. With me, as always, is Jack Starry, calling from beautiful, wherever the hell he is, Virginia, right?
East Bumblefuck, Virginia, yeah.
East Bumblefuck, Virginia. So, Jack, you have had, I think we both have had a pretty damn exciting week this week.
Oh, you're fucking right, we did.
Yeah. You went out and stuck your big toe in the Big Apple over the week with your boy JT, who, by the way, is also our basic, our sound guy, the good guy that gives us the wonderful music. So how'd that go for you?
Oh, it was great, man. The fucking rats were fucking amazing. I saw them everywhere. The first night, we went down to Times Square, walked around for a while, and like 5 miles worth of walking, and holy fuck, that place is nut to butt. Times Square is. It's bad. And there's nowhere to pee.
There's nowhere to pee. That sounds like
so got back to the hotel, and I was like, man, I'm fucking beat, and I got social anxiety. So I walked around the corner from the hotel to this place called the Taylor Public House and got a beer. And on the way to the bar, 3 rats were fighting on the sidewalk in front of me. Wow. And I tried to get close to get a picture, but as soon as I got close enough, they took off running. And then I saw 2 of them on the way back, which is one of the pictures I posted on the depot. And then the next day, going up to the Museum of Natural History, walking through Central Park, this big motherfucker's just sauntering down the pathway like he owned the goddamn place, which he probably did.
Oh man, that one you posted on PCHD, that was a good roasting size.
Oh, the daytime one when he was sitting under that little barricade.
Mm-hmm.
That little fucker looked like a ratatouille.
Oh yeah, it was something else. You're lucky, when you ran into that threesome of rats that they didn't gang together and kick your ass.
I was hoping they'd get their tails tied together and become a rat king. That'd be fucking awesome.
Oh man, I've seen those. I've only heard about them. I don't know. I would probably have to leave the business if I ever actually saw a rat king in person, because it's like, all right, I give up. I'm done. Yeah,
that'd be the coolest fucking thing. Oh my god,
it would be cool, but it would be a career ender for me, because it's like, okay, I don't know how to fucking deal with shit like this.
You're like, I'm done. I've seen everything now. I'm done.
Stomp. It's so goddamn many of them. I only got 2 fucking feet, and there's like 8 of these fuckers connected with their tails. Holy shit!
That'd be awesome. But no, other than that, it was a good time. Went to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Took my son to the Hard Rock Cafe. He's a big Beatles junkie, and they got all kinds of Beatles stuff at that Hard Rock Cafe. So we had a good time there. I went to the top of the Empire State Building. Well, the 86th floor of the Empire State Building, the observation deck, and that was awesome.
All right.
But no, we had a good time, but I'm glad to be back, and my legs and feet still fucking hate me.
I bet they do. You said you basically walked a marathon while you were there.
26 miles in 4 days.
Yeah. You needed that 0.2 miles, and you would have made it.
Jesus Christ.
It sounds like a great time. I've never been to New York City. I don't know if I would ever want to go. I like listening to stories vicariously about New York. I'm like you. I have social anxiety, and I don't like being around large groups of people for very long. And I think New York City is nothing but a large group of people.
Oh yeah. Jesus Christ. And I got accosted by some dude on the way back from the bar the first night trying to hit me up for money, and got pissed off when I told him I didn't carry cash.
Oh, nice.
I'm thinking that'd be a great way to deal with my social anxiety, by kicking his ass on the corner.
By kicking his ass, yeah, it'd make you a new man. It'd make a new man out of him, too.
A broken man.
A broken man. Oh, mercy. So, it sounds like you had a great time in New York City, and I guess that's not the only exciting thing that happened this week. Jack, what else happened to us?
Oh, man. PCT Magazine. I've been going back and forth in emails with them for the past couple months. They wanted to talk about the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, they sent me an email about 4 days ago saying, hey, we need a few more details, and if you can give us a good picture for the article, that'd be great. So I bugged you about a little bio on you, and they wanted Kevin Wilhite's business information, which is cool because he got his business linked in the article. Yeah. Then 2 days ago, the article came out. I got a note that I was tagged in a PCT Online article on LinkedIn, and damn sure enough, we have an article. We are the only podcast of our kind, and we are on PCT Magazine.
I am stunned. I mean, back when I started in this business 31 years ago, I saw one of the issues of PCT Magazine sitting on the table in the tech room, and I was fumbling through it, and said to myself, one of these days I'm going to be in this magazine, and I can't believe that I'm in this magazine because of this fucking podcast.
Oh man, you and me both. God damn.
Hey man, any publicity is good publicity.
I'll take it, man. I want it to be driving people in droves to the depot because that's where it's fucking happening.
That ain't no shit, and I'd like to think that PCHD is, also like Tales from the Crawl Space is also unlike any other pest control group out there. You've got several other ones. You've got PestCemetery.com, which is a stellar group. They're more of the technicals. They're a little bit more serious than we are. They basically like to think that they're the tech room. We like to think that we're the place behind the office in the garage where everybody goes to smoke. That's what PCHD is all about. And we're here not just for the smokers, but for the non-smokers that like to stand around and watch other fuckers smoke. Right. So we all have our lanes. That's theirs. Ours is the other lane. And so I wish them all the best, and I wish us all the best too. And also, if by any chance that PCT article brought you to today's podcast, Jack and I want to bid you welcome.
Hell yeah.
And you'll buckle up and glove up because you are in for a ride.
You're fucking right, you are. I'm actually kind of tempted to read the damn article.
Hey, do whatever.
Fuck it. Okay. We've got an hour to fill.
Here, but man, we don't have a time limit. You rock on.
All right. New podcast mixes humor and pest lessons learned. Retired PMP Jack Starry launched a podcast during COVID pandemic that he describes as irreverent and sometimes not safe for work, but relatable to other industry professionals. By Cole Oswald, June 14th, 2023. At the height of the pandemic, Jack Starry, a retired pest control professional, was running out of things to do and began searching for a podcast about the pest control industry that featured humor and relatable stories. Unable to find one, Starry decided to create and launch one himself. Using his 26 years of industry experience, which includes time spent as a service technician, service manager, district supervisor, branch manager, and a manager of distribution location, Starry created Tales from the Crawl Space. For my research, there is no other podcast like mine, Starry said. We are completely unique and original. All the other pest podcasts are primarily industry knowledge, tips, and tricks. Tales from the Crawl Space is a one-of-a-kind with its humor and relatable stories. Starry said that Tales from the Crawl Space, a pest control comedy podcast, and often features stories contributed by listeners, or fucking cheesebags. It's right. Irreverent and sometimes NSFW, but every pest pro can relate, Starry said. It contains subjects that are akin to shop talk that all techs do about their days and experiences. Thus far, the highlights have included a Women in Pest Control episode, an Ask Us Anything Christmas show episode. Another popular episode was An Evening with Kevin, which was an interview with Kevin Wilhite, who owns
the Slim Reaper.
That's right, All Over Pest Solutions in Chicago. He shared several fun and interesting in-the-field experiences. Brad Harvey, Starry's co-host, also brings a wealth of industry experience to the podcast. A 31-year veteran of pest management, Harvey has held several positions in the industry from technician, management, administrative, and sales. He is also the creator of the Pest Control Humor Depot group on Facebook.
My favorite group.
That's damn right. Quote, I have done just about everything in pest control except my own company. Harvey said, working with Jack on Tales from the Crawl Space has been a tremendous experience. We're both looking forward to reaching more listeners and getting more input from them. They are the reason we do this. Starry and Harvey have big plans for the future of their podcast.
Fucking A.
Quote, my awesome co-host and I hope to grow our listener base, especially overseas. There goes the train.
The train!
So we can have guests from other countries talk about their experiences on the job, Starry said. We would love to see the similarities. Even as the podcast continues to grow, Starry and Harvey are focused on enjoying their project. At the time when I did this interview, for the record, we are not monetized, Starry said. We do this for fun. If listeners are interested in sharing their own stories on the podcast, they can register as a guest at Tales from the Crawl Space 2.0 or email Starry directly at jack@tftc.wtf.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? All right. Man, that is great. I just really, and not just because, we got our names in a magazine, because Jack, you and I, even though we do have social anxiety, the other side of the coin, we're both attention whores. And,
sure.
But that's not the big picture on this. The big picture on this is that people will read the article. They may be taking a shit. They may be, waiting for a fucking customer to show up, 20 half a minute late when they're supposed to be there. And, they'll come across the article. They'll see it, maybe give us a listen. And, hopefully that when they do listen, they'll know that, we're here for you guys. We are here for your amusement. We are clowns. And, so that's what I hope comes out of the article. It's nice to have your name in print, but that's not the important thing.
No, I like the fact that we can get more people to listen and enjoy it. And I'm talking about people overseas. I've got a couple guys so far. I put a post on the Depot several days ago. One guy's from Australia that would love to come on the show, and I would love to hear about the shit you got to kill in Australia. Another gentleman from Brazil is worried about his English. I said, fuck, dude, have you heard the podcast? My English sucks.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be like, maybe if I didn't hit the bourbon so hard before we did the podcast, I'd be a little bit more understandable. But you know what? That is not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
And there's another gentleman. Sadly, I'm forgetting what locality he is from, but I've got about 3 different gentlemen from different parts of the world that I'd love to get them all together and pick their brains about the kind of shit that's trying to kill you in other countries.
Yeah. Before we move on to the subject, and yes, there is actually a topic to tonight's episode. I do want to give a special shout out to, the guy that was there in the beginning, Nicholas Harrell. Nick, I miss your mating call, and really grateful, for the role that you played, with Jack in getting this off the ground.
Oh, by all means. Nick helped me build this show for the first season. He came up with amazing ideas for episodes when I was like, what the fuck are we going to talk about now?
Yeah.
And
when Nick was on this game, it was fucking stellar.
oh God, yeah.
Man.
And his deep love for King of the Hill and Dale Gribble, well, Pocket Cow Star. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But definitely.
Yep. So thanks again, Nick. Okay, Jack, did we have a subject for tonight's episode?
We do, my friend. It's bedbugs.
It's the bedbugs, Chinchas sticama. Oh, my goodness. Yes. And as always, PCHD delivers. When we put this subject out for tonight's episode, I kind of knew we were going to get some juicies, and we did. So, let's go ahead and pounce right on them. So we'll start with Jonathan Wilson. Jonathan Wilson is a fellow cheese bag on PCHD. Jonathan writes, a coworker of mine and I arrived to a bedbug evaluation. An elderly man answers the door and immediately starts saying, I have no idea what they're talking about. I haven't seen any bugs. I haven't been bitten. I have no bites. This is ridiculous. I'm sure he said probably malarkey, but yeah, this is ridiculous, and on and on. I'm not sure who called. I assume a family member was concerned about it. At that point, Trent, who this guy he's with apparently, points to his shirt and says, Sir, you have bedbugs in your pocket. And sure as shit, he had half a dozen or so hanging out in there. I actually don't remember the house being particularly awful as far as infestations go, but I'll never forget that.
Pocket bed bugs.
Pocket bed bugs. I'll tell you what, man, if it wasn't for those damn pocket bed bugs, I would have made a hell of a lot less money in the last few years. One of my clients with the Scarlet Letter was a major chain of financial institutions, and people would come in, sit down in the office with the banker, and discuss their finances. And next thing you know, the banker looks down and sees a bed bug crawling across the chair. It was an immediate call to me. I'd get out there that night. Their protocol was treat it, get rid of them by any means necessary. I don't give a shit. We saw it. You treat it. I go out, 9 times out of 10, I would find them somewhere else in the building. So we get them treated. 2 weeks later, we'd have to get a canine inspection in there. Now this is all their protocol, and clear the building, and so life was good back then, and so I didn't get shit during COVID because all the banks were closed, but couldn't get people in. But man, the minute the restrictions were lifted, the money started flowing back in again. And let's face it, these things are disgusting, but damn, they're good money.
Yes, they are. Man, I would make a killing when I was working for the commercial place here. I did a couple apartment complexes, and I got 20% of each job I did, of each bedbug job I did, and I had a apartment complex. I had 12 of them in one day.
Oof.
And I got all the money up front for the. I get paid on the first service and nothing on the follow ups, but it's fine because they were charging for the apartment complex $450 a unit. That meant I got $90 each one I did.
Oh yeah, that's
and I
awesome.
did 12 of them in one day. I was like, I'm fine with that. Shit. Give it to me.
We had one client that was in the hospitality business, and they were a corporate entity, and sometimes it would be really difficult for them to, let's say, get the payments on time to meet the terms of the payment.
Right.
And sometimes things would lag so far behind, we just flat out couldn't service them. It's like, guys, you are 4 months behind. We can't come in there. And so basically what happened is the manager of the establishment gave us a credit card to put on file, but we could only use it for the bed bug treatments. So even if they were, X amount of months behind on their other service, their general pest control, if they had a bed bug call, boom, we were out there. And
hell yeah.
We charge a little bit extra for that, but it turned out to be a pretty good deal. And
Get paid on a big money one. Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Nothing like money. So you got one?
Oh, I do. I actually have one from our world-renowned PCHD admin, Josh Talbert.
Oh, yeah.
He said, it's a short one. He goes, I had a customer when I worked for my first company that they were so bad from the old lady using aerosols for years that during the treatment, they were moving from room to room in the hallway. It's pretty bad when they're fucking migrating to get away from your treatment.
Yeah, absolutely. That ain't no shit, man. Yeah, that's what I like about these non-repellent things that are out now. It's like they don't even know it's there. They just lay there and die.
Oh, I love Crossfire. I love using Crossfire.
Crossfire is the neutron bomb of bedbug chemicals. I'm a big fan, and I will swear to this. For a lot of them, I could, I'd say about 95% of them I can take out with Transport Micron. It's a really good product, and it's got a decently broad label as well, because if you got a little bit extra in your sprayer when you're done, you can just go on to the next account and do whatever you got to do with that. So, it's also a non-repellent. And I always have really good success with it. Now, I pretty much use it mostly on hotels and that one financial institution that I was talking about, because those are more or less, they haven't, the infestation hasn't gotten biblical on them. So,
Right.
they were able to jump right on it. So, we can go in there with something like that. It's a lot cheaper than Crossfire too. Crossfire's, Jesus Christ, it's expensive.
It
And,
is, but man, it lights some motherfuckers up though.
It does. It really does. But Crossfire is a pretty high maintenance product too. I mean, it's like you got to agitate it every 1.2 seconds, or it'll start coming out on you like cottage cheese out of your sprayer. And you got to use so damn much of it and everything, and the fact that the price point is astronomical. Now you can always recoup that on the prices that you charge, but shit, if you can save $1 and still get the job done, I say go for it.
But see, you just turned epilepsy from a disability to an ability.
Jesus. Oh man.
Oh, I got another quick one, real quick from Instagram.
Right, go for it.
Eric from, I believe it's Grand Rapids, Michigan, a little short one. He goes, and this gave me the oogies. He goes, how about a townhouse so infested the bed bugs were living in the toilet seat hinge?
Ooh, yeah.
So if I'm snapping a loaf and I feel something crawl across the bottom of my balls and it's a bed bug, I'm definitely jumping up and spraying shit everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, when something happens like to me, if that happens to me, the first thing on my mind would be, ooh, that's kind of nice. But that might be a bed bug. Yeah.
I got a tangle on my dangle.
Yeah, that's right. I thought, man, this is the best dump ever. So anyway, let's go to Thomas Miles. He's talking about, I was on a heat treatment. I want to talk about heat treatments later. With another tech at the old company I was with, we did a walkthrough, got everything out that they forgot. Now they had bed bugs for about 7 years, and that place was just crawling with them. But as we were getting the heat up in there, we were flipping things as well and noticed a small hidden door at this point. We were sweating due to the temp, and when we opened it, that's when we found where his ammo stash was at. We did get it out in time, luckily. Another time was when I was training. When I first started, I asked if it was good to heat the home up to that temp due to what the house's floors, and I was told yes. Fast forward about 3 hours when we started the next walkthrough to flip everything, and we found the horrifying sight of warped and melted floors. Oh my God. Now, okay, I'll be the first to admit I am a heat virgin. Now this coming after this coming Monday comes and goes, I will no longer be a heat virgin. I'm going to go to my first heat treatment on Monday, and I am excited as fuck. And
they're cool as hell. They are.
I went through some training, and I went through some training yesterday, and I'm going with a guy that's the heat guru for this company. So I'm looking really forward to learning a new technique. And I was told by somebody that things like the vinyl plank flooring and stuff, that they will warp when things are up to temp, but once everything cools down, the product or the floor shrinks back, the planks shrink back and everything's cool. Yeah. I don't know if that's something that might have happened with that. It sounds to me based on what I heard during my training. It sounds like that house was brought up too hot. And
yeah.
But I'm not going to get too technical because that's not what we're about. We're about having fun here. So fuck that. But yeah. And as far as the ammo, I mean, would it really get hot enough to detonate ammo?
No, because you can't even have it hot enough to warp the vinyl windows. So you're kind of dancing around a certain temperature. I think I'm not sure. It was like 200,
180. When you get up to 180, you're going to start having problems with shit. As far as electronics and stuff like that. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
Yeah, and that's not near hot enough. I mean, goddamn, I've had my 9mm in my glove box in the summer, and it didn't blow holes in the dashboard, so I'm okay.
I mean, we've been fighting fuckers in the desert for how many goddamn years, and you don't hear anything about the heat blowing shit up, from that. It's just like they're just blowing each other up. But anyway. So,
I could see how it would freak someone out that wasn't familiar, though. I could definitely see that.
Sure, yeah, I get it. Yeah, there's definitely a pucker factor there when you're in a house that you're heating up, and open. I can definitely see that, but
for sure.
I just want to make sure that any of the ones that I go into, because again, I am a heat virgin, that's something that I shouldn't be too apoplectic over if I find it.
Well, you have to start singing that Heatmeister song from that Christmas show.
Oh shit! Yeah,
the Heatmeister.
Heatmeister. Oh my god! I'm gonna have to look that up on YouTube after the show so I can figure. So I'll start busting that out on the guy.
I'll see if I can add a blurb of it at the end of the show.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that and a mating call. Another nod to Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, Hans Blada, a regular contributor to Tales from the Crawl Space, says, very briefly for a change of pace, I submit your work in low-income housing, so I wake up screaming at a fair amount. I was in a one-bedroom unit years back. Call out, inspect for pests, easy. The bedroom looked like it had been black paintball bombed because of the amount of bedbugs living in there. They were in the door, in it. They were in the washroom cupboards, along the toilet bowl and shower, in the kitchen, along the sink, along the cabinet doors. When we went to move the coffee table in the living room, there was an audible crunch and blood dripped on the floor. There was that many on the underside.
Yummy.
Every time I tell a customer, oh no, I've seen worse. It's this place I'm talking about, and it hasn't changed in 5 years now. And if there was some Reader's Digest style porn, there was some also some Reader's Digest style porn, which I also clearly remember. To imagine having a wink in this place, it wasn't easy, but I am a professional. Oh, shit. Not my proudest toss, but damn it, I managed. Good for you, Hans. Good for you. Oh, man.
Yeah. Not all skeet times are bedbug times, but all the bedbug times are skeet times.
Shit. I'll tell you what, that puts me to mind of I'd say my first severe bedbug job back when bedbugs started becoming, the soup du jour again. Now, granted, I started the business back in 1992, and at that time I was working for the Big Green Tea. And when I got my job at the Big Green Tea, they threw into my hands the Big Green Binder, and that was our training and service manual. Oh, lovely. It had all the thumb tabs and everything. It talks about company culture. Talks about different types of equipment, pests, things like that. Basically, getting you ready to go out and do your job. Not a single fucking word about bedbugs was in that binder.
Oh no.
That's the way it was. You just didn't deal with bedbugs. And then when they made a comeback, we were all running around figuring out what the fuck we're going to do about this. And then Mr. Fordyce's house hit us. Mr. Fordyce ran a group home, and Mr. Fordyce had his residents living in pretty unseeming conditions in the basement. Now, everybody had their room and yada, yada, yada. But we went and I think Daryl, my brother, sold it. And he said, it's going to take everybody. So we got everybody that was available out there to this place. And we were, Jack, we go into the bathroom, and the rolls of toilet paper that were sitting on the counter, they were in between those.
Oh,
there was a dresser that had a teddy bear on it. They were in there, and I've got pictures of these, Jack. I'll send them to you.
Okay.
And if I can find them, because that was a million fucking years ago. But I've got, we went in there, and a lot of the rooms just looked like they were thrown together, on a whim, because there was sheetrock on the walls, but the sheetrock had not been finished. Now we were going up the door jambs, and we were like literally taking the sheetrock off the walls, and in between the gypsum and the paper, they were burrowing into those. This is how bad it was. We didn't have shit. We had Psychic, we had some Bedlam, and we had a steamer. And, that was about it. And I'll tell you what, man, we beat the living shit out of that house. And to this day, I would say that is probably in the top 3 worst infestations that I'd ever seen. And it was one of the first ones. and it was the damnedest thing. And
Wow.
I still think about that to this day. But nowadays things are a little bit easier for us. Yeah, bed bugs are still a bitch, but we still run into them, and we run into them in numbers that are astounding sometimes. Because they've been around for their comeback is what, close to 20 years old now.
Well, yeah, I'm talking to some old school guys that were around before they started, they made a resurgence. They all had the same complaint. They said, and I don't know, I mean, I can see how this is the thing, but I'm not making my statement. This is their statement, that the advent of IPM had a lot to do with bed bugs coming back. And when they started taking chemicals off the market and baseboard jockeying being a bit of a thing of the past, that they made a comeback because we're not using as much chemical as opposed to doing environmental controls and things like that. So
Right.
I can see how that may have had a big hand in the resurgence of bed bugs.
Yeah, and the amount of products that we're putting out in homes now is, just for general pest control is, not a whole hell of a lot.
No.
But I think if you had some bed bug activity in a house, they would be exposed to, I don't know what, a sublethal dose. And then, that's when you start getting a lot of resistance. I mean, yeah, you get resistance when you just keep pouring the same thing all the time.
Right.
But you also get it when you're not putting out enough stuff that actually kill the damn thing. So now, it got sick, it got over it. Now it's fucking another bed bug through, of course, traumatic insemination. And, Ooh, yeah. And,
that gets me all hot and bothered.
I mean, I'm no entomologist. I'm not a scientist, but common sense dictates that could be a factor in it. And God damn it, you can spray a fucking baseboard. You just got to know how to spray the fucking baseboard. You don't spray a baseboard that's got caulk all the way up the top and there's nothing sealed and shit like that. That's a waste of time. But the vast majority of them got those gaps between the actual board itself and the wall. That's where you slip some shit in right there.
Right.
So if you want to call me a baseboard jockey, that's fine. I'll put it on a fucking t-shirt.
Well, you also don't put it on fan spray on your B&G and then get like a foot up the wall on the fucking matte paint.
Thank you.
You don't fucking do that.
Yeah. And then you try to justify it when the customer sees it. They're like, what's that? That'll dry clear.
Yeah, you won't see that. Especially if it's psychic. That shit, psychic stains everything.
Oh, especially if they fucking smoke in their house too.
Oh God, yes, you see the yellowish run down the walls.
Yeah, looks like something out of an Edward Munch painting.
Little nicotine.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, we've rambled on enough. Let's get to another story. Hey, Jonathan McDowell. I've done easily 600 plus bedbug jobs in my career. I'm up to 5-6 a week, sometimes 3 or 4 a day on a busy week. And that guy needs toothpicks to keep his eyelids open. I've seen them all the way from what the fuck did you waste my time calling me out here to what the fuck took you so long to call me out here. I've seen every single home remedy treatment you could dream of. My favorite are always the DE powder and baking soda ones that look like Tony Montana had a party foul all over their beds and floors.
Oh, my God, yeah.
You fucking cockroach.
Diet tomatoes are lovely.
The worst I've ever done was with a buddy at a different company. Hospice calls us out to a gentleman's house. I'm going to pause right here at hospice, okay? Yeah, hospice. When you get a call from hospice, you get the fuck over there because they will not. The hospice, the hospice organization will not send another caregiver out there to that house until it is treated. And now you've got, not only do you have a problem with the bugs in the house, but you've got a problem with your conscience because that person is not getting the care that they need. So yeah, when hospice says jump, you ask how high.
Yes, you do.
Okay, I'm going to jump off my soapbox here. Okay, hospice calls us out to the gentleman's house, and he was in his mid-70s on bed rest. They don't know how long he had them, but he has no family that had been checking up on him.
Oh, man.
After speaking with them, they informed me and my buddy that this gentleman had 3 blood transfusions due to the bed bugs, pretty much eating this man alive.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it, I need to proofread these things before I read them out. I'm thinking this lady had to be exaggerating until I seen the bedroom. The wallpaper was called Bedbug.
Ugh.
The walls were crawling. They were crawling all over this man. The bed, the floors, everything. It looked like a massive German roach infestation, but with bed bugs.
Oh, Christ.
I don't think I'll ever witness another bed bug job like that again, and I've seen some doozies. Crossfire came in clutch and eradicated them fully after initial and a follow-up. Wow. He goes, I'm also going to send a link to my buddy's TikTok so you can see just what the box spring looked like once we finally got it outside. Hope this can provide some kind of content for you folks.
Wow. That's fucking horrible.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I mean, we're not, there's people out there that can't take care of themselves, and that's where we got to come in, and we got to make sure that those people have the priorities. Karen in the upper middle class suburb,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's gonna have to sit down for a second. If you've got a hospice person, and then you've got Karen or Jennifer up there. Yeah, the hospice person comes first. You got to get that situation under control. Not only for that person, but so the hospice agents can get back in there and take care of that person.
But darling, we picked up these horrible blood-sucking beasts while on holiday.
But I'm on Angie's list.
Don't give a fuck what you're
on. Yeah. So I feel I'm entitled to get service first. Oh, fuck you.
You and Angie can suck it.
That's right. Angie's fist. Anyway.
I'll make you my puppet.
I will make you my meat puppet.
Well, I got to tell you about little people, helpless people that can't, take care of themselves. I had one in a little tiny town right down the road from me. One of those really low rent duplexes. I mean, the place is just a hovel from the outside. And when you go in, it's even worse. And their issue was in the nursery where they had the baby's crib and everything. Mm-hmm. And they're like, our baby's been getting bit all over his legs. And when I got there and started pulling apart the crib, man, they were everywhere. When I pulled that mattress out, they were like scrambling when I moved the mattress. And this family didn't have any money. It was the slumlord that was paying for it finally. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have money for another crib. And they're like, well, can you treat the crib and we can use it? I'm like, no. Because, this had like the little side rail that you could like put down, which had that metal rod that goes through the wood all the way across. And when I was taking it apart and looking, there's eggs all up in that thing. And so I was like, there's no way we can completely clear this crib for use. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm telling you what you should do. Mm-hmm. And they were just beside themselves.
Wow.
Having to throw away most of the stuff they had for their baby. And it was just miserable shit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Babies and the infirm are, they hit me kind of hard. And, I always try to do whatever I can do within reason, as long as it's not illegal, immoral, fattening, or cancerous, to get the job done for them. And, right. I'd like to think that everybody else out there would do the same thing.
Oh yeah. You'd hope. Hope.
Yeah. So, okay, I've got one here, but I want to I want to check with you to see if you've got any more, because this one is long, and it's quite a bit of there are certainly, it is an abundance of words.
Well, look, you start and talk slow. I'm low on beer. I need to go to the fridge to grab one, so I'm going to put my mic on mute while you start, and I will play catch up when I get back in 30 seconds.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll be back.
All right. So Betty Rubble writes in, and she goes, let's see. She goes, this is my bedbug German story. I'm assuming she means German roaches. So my husband was delivering rent-to-own furniture and started giving out my info to customers he found to have issues in their homes, which he did without my consent and I told him, please, for the love of Christ, do not give these people my info, because if they are getting rent-to-own furniture, they definitely cannot afford to get rid of their problems, especially not with what I charge, which I should say, I hold no judgment. Are you back, Jack?
Yeah, I don't trust rent-to-own furniture. Fuck that shit.
Okay, very good. I, too, have made overpriced purchases of whatever rent-to-own garbage I've needed in a pinch, so I know these folks' budget. Anywho, he gives them my business number, and they contact me. During the conversation, it was made known to me that they were a polythrouple, which no judgment, but was a surprise when the woman said they would all try to split the bill, so whatever, it was 2022. They wanted service for German roaches and bedbugs. She throws a couple of fecal emojis on this. And the road to their house was questionable. North Central Arkansas back roads and 3-mile dirt driveways can be very treacherous, especially in a Ford Transit van. You poor thing. Scraping exhaust and moldings and getting thrown around like a cup of juice in the hands of a running toddler. When I finally pull up to the house, there are dogs and goats running around the yard.
Oh, damn.
Soggy, fly-covered dog food bowls on the porch, and somebody that I was hoping was alive laid back in a chair with the door open. Excuse me, am I at wherever the hell it was? I'm looking for blah, blah. I got pointed towards the front door of a converted metal barn that was now almost a house.
Hey, he's over there. He's
almost. Yeah. I could hear banjo music.
You got a pretty mouth.
You do. You get them panties off right now. Anyway, I knock on the door and ask for, don't remember, I'll say for the sake of a name, Barb. Introduce myself. Hi, I'm Bug Lady here for a quote. Is Barb here? And this no shorter than 6'6", probably 350 plus pound woman in a moo answers the door.
Good God.
That's not a Barb. That's a Mama June. Okay. Yeah, hi, I'm Mama June. You can smell the Germans from the screen door. What are we going to be looking at today? She explains about the roaches and bedbugs in X rooms in the kitchen, of course. Now, as my stomach begins to turn, I excuse myself to get my gloves and knee pads. Also, send my husband a lovely message about not giving out my number to his customers. Kitchen is to be as expected. Food left out, clutter everywhere. And when I look behind the fridge, good Lord. We've all seen it, though, the whole time thinking, no way she's serious about being Polly. So, after meandering around the kitchen and laundry room adjacent, I ask about the bed bugs. Take a quick drink here. Hang on.
Well, I tell you, that household, someone said, we didn't have these things a week ago.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks ago when those assholes moved in next door.
That's right.
Yeah, of course, those assholes live about 3,000 feet to the east. But yeah, they all just pack their little bug bags and marched right the fuck over to your house.
Of course,
whatever you say, Mama June. Anyway, okay. And what the fuck? One more sip here. Tonight's episode is brought to you by my old standby Evan Williams, bottled in bond. Okay. Nice. She introduces me to her girlfriend, who is of similar but shorter stature and equally as scary of a woman. I reiterate about this being North Central Arkansas, not known for its high-quality looks. There are kids running around all over the place, half-dressed,
Kool-Aid mustaches.
Yeah, asking to play games on my phone, asking for $1, typical weird little kid stuff. So ignoring as I can, she shows me the worst bedbug room. The master bed, which is shared by the three. Pardon me 1 second.
I bet that smelled lovely.
Okay.
That smelled lovely.
Holy G's, absolutely no shame. Adult toys of all shapes, sizes, types, and girths laying around on dressers, on the bed.
And smells.
Just really, people. On top of that, they have an inflatable hot tub in their bedroom, which, not a bad idea, but there's no way that between the woman, a third party could fit. Anyway, inspection continues. The kids are sleeping in some precarious conditions. I think there was a total of 7 kids. Rabbits in a pen with bedding on the actual floor of the house.
Oh, God.
I checked the weird kids' rooms. There's just a weird kid there. And not a lot going on. Then they tell me about the loft. No one has been there in a couple of months. Whoever it was.
Can't get the fucking steps.
Shit. Not without breaking them. They said just picked up and left and hasn't contacted them since leaving all their belongings behind. That's suspicious as hell. Like way too much true crime to be okay with this explanation. And it's just as strange as you expect. All it needs is blood on the walls. The loft has no damn rails on the steps either. Almost frickin' fell down them. And getting to the bottom of the stairs, another kid runs up and asks me for money. The cherry on top of this whole situation was the fact that this last child is missing an eye. I nearly audibly screamed. You ever see the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. But the husband is home, and he is no better looking than the rest of the crew, like I imagined. Starts asking if I can go ahead and do their couch since he's been spraying it with rubbing alcohol. No, sorry, not till you pay. But halfway distracted by the small children doing housework. Housework? Okay. While the adults sit around, I tell them how much it will be to get rid of the roaches, which they agreed to and were supposed to contact the office about scheduling when they had the funds. And after that, we would discuss the bedbug pricing. There wasn't any further communication. It's been so long since that inspection. A great deal of the finer details, but this story is pretty long as it is. You don't say. But holy shit, this story from Betty Rubble has quality and quantity.
Yes, it does. I was hearing Robert Stack in the theme song from Unsolved Mysteries as they were going up into the loft. You know.
Oh, not me. I was hearing every fucking song from Days of the New when I was listening to this.
Then I imagine Cousin Eddie walking in. Well, Clark,
man, good.
A couple of little bugs around here.
Have mercy. Yeah, that was a hell of a story, Betty. So yabba dabba doo. So,
thank you, Betty.
Thank you, Betty. All right.
God damn.
That's the damnedest thing. I mean, you hear some big. I've had some shit like that, but not to that degree. And I don't think it was like a polyamorous relationship involved in that. But there was definitely tons of roaches, tons of kids running around asking for money, wanting to play with my phone and shit and everything. I had a really good termite inspection today. The kids were very well behaved, and I always I'll take my flashlight, shine it up, put it up against the wall on the side so I can kind of see the drywall and get a good light shine on it. So if I can see any blisters and what, and they were asking me what I was doing, and they were, I told them what I was doing. One of them asked if they could hold the flashlight. I'm like, sure, yeah. And we had a good time,
That's cool. I like stuff like that. That's awesome.
One of them asked me for money or to play with my phone. So, yeah, some very well behaved kids there. So that was always good to see. I gave the lady, she's actually their grandma, and she babysits them during the day, and so I gave her some kudos. So yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you, with Betty Rubble's story, I could only imagine how Cousin Eddie felt. He's got them two women who are 2 tons of fun and probably smell like a sweat sock, man. He probably thought he was on a gravy train with biscuit wheels, man. I got 2 women. I got a hot tub in the bedroom.
Yeah, and I don't know. I didn't see a description of the guy other than that he was ugly. It's like he's probably like 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yep.
It's like
no t-shirt on, chest tattoos, and 4 teeth.
Exactly. Yep. I got one more. This is from Zach Waller. And, I appreciate the story from Zach. And every one of these came from Pest Control Humor Depot. So, nice. I really appreciate everybody on that. That is, of course, my favorite group. So
thank you, cheese bags.
Okay. So Zach pipes in with, We treated a hospital group as a whole for bed bugs once upon a time, all hours of the day and night. It was always super urgent when 99% of the time it was a nurse who saw maybe a shed skin or on one on a patient and just absolutely freaked the fuck out. I had gotten used to that on almost a daily basis. Ecolab. Not a huge deal if I found one. Hella good money. Yeah. Well, one day I did get a call. I'm thinking same shit, different day. I head up there, and they had taped plastic up all the way around the exterior of an ER room. My thoughts are, well, that's a tad bit of an overreaction. So I asked the desk nurse what the deal was. The man was the definition of obesity. Came in at between 450 to 500 pounds. He was shedding. Ooh, yeah, that's a lot of fun right there.
Mm-hmm.
He was shedding bed bugs like it was fucking dandruff, apparently.
Oh, my God.
That tiny ass hospital mattress, all the nooks and crannies of the hospital frame, and some wandering off in the daylight. I counted 29 bed bugs. I picked off this mattress when he was only there for maybe 2 hours. They had to discharge. Listen to this. Oh, this is classic. They had to discharge him from the hospital alive and carry him out in a body bag so he didn't leave anything else behind in the hallway.
Oh, wow.
I have never been so overwhelmed as a tech in my life.
Jesus Christ. So they make body bags for grand pianos?
Oh, they do. They do. I mean, you got to put them somewhere,
It's a tarp with a zipper.
No, I got a Christmas tree bag for my Christmas tree. It may suffice. And I wanted to get a patch on it that said Flannery Buchanan Mortuary, but my wife was not having any of that shit. My goodness, you guys, I'm telling you, man, bed bugs are fucked, and and a lot of times the people that have them are fucked too. Damn, they're a hot mess, and I feel bad for every single one of them. I don't care what kind of living conditions they are, what kind of deliverance type conditions that they live in, or anything like that. Bed bugs suck. Literally, they do.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, you mentioned hot mess, and you said you were going to talk about heat treatments, but that made me think. What you this last story just brought something to mind for me. I was working with one company, and this waiting room at a hospital, not the emergency room, but like the one upstairs where like you wait for somebody to come out of surgery type thing. They were getting bed bugs in the furniture of the waiting room. So the cool thing about it is, one, it was the first time I ever got to watch a bed bug dog work. That was pretty awesome.
Bed bug dogs are so fucking great.
They are. These little basset hounds, man, they were just tearing it up.
Oh,
nice. And one was a beagle. They had 3 dogs, and they'd switch him out. Like one would work for about 30 minutes. They'd take him out, let him rest, and they'll work for about 30 minutes. We pulled all the furniture out, put it on the back of a flatbed, like a steak body truck, and took him back to the shop with a Connex box. And we put all the furniture in a Connex box, and just put a fucking heater in there and just heat it all, because they don't want people laying all over pesticides and shit on this piece of furniture at the hospital. But we heated them up 3 times, once a day for 3 days in a row, then went back and stripped all the furniture to make sure everything was dead. And it worked great. Them dogs, man, they were awesome. So it was just, neat. How we did it, watching the bed bug dogs work. Try saying that 3 times fast after a couple
dogs,
years.
Yeah. I call them canine inspectors. Anyway, so you're telling me they use basset hounds? That's awesome. All the ones I've had experience with are of the Labrador Golden Retriever type dogs. Some of the larger dogs. And there was one in particular, because again, this financial institution that we used to serve, or that I used to service, I assume the Scarlet Letter still does, hopefully. They always use this one dog, Izzy.
Right.
She was just the greatest damn dog. I mean, when her handler Todd would get would put her on task, I mean, she was just 100% business. And then, after the inspection was done and complete, and, he praised her, rewarded her with, of course, Ball, because, when you're a dog, Ball is life.
Sick balls, Chopper. Sick balls.
And I'll tell you what, she turned into just the quintessential, doggy, doggo,
Who's
having a good time,
boy?
enjoying
Who's a
time, a
good
good girl. I am that. Izzy cleared many a branch for us. Izzy, signaled on a couple of things. Izzy did at one time. Izzy did signal on the drawer where the drive-up tellers kept the dog biscuits.
Of course.
But Izzy was one of those canine inspectors that I am never going to forget. She was, she passed I think a year or two ago. She had been retired, and Todd got to adopt her after that, which was tremendous. And Isabella is going to be one of those unforgettable people in things in my life. You go through your life. There's people you never forget. Randy Strother is one of them, and but Izzy is one as well. So. I'd like to dedicate this show not just to Randy, as we always do, but also to the memory of Izzy.
That's right.
And
good on you, Izzy.
Yeah,
good girl.
Absolutely. She's a good girl. So Jack, let's talk about some future episodes here. I've got I had one. Somebody came with me with a comment. Wasn't related to bedbugs or anything, but this person writes, "Hi, Brad. Hi, anonymous person. I just wanted to write and let you know that I finished watching every episode on TFTC.WTF. What the fuck?
Yep.
As part of my training as a new admin."
I got this exact same message, and I got a story to tell you when you're done.
Okay. I've been in the office for a few months now at a smaller but growing company in Columbus, Ohio, and my boss is the one who recommended I listen just to get an idea of the industry. That is Boss of the Year.
Yes, it is. That's awesome.
In fact, my boss, who I'm not going to mention because I left the poster anonymous, was actually mentioned on the Snakes episode at the beginning of TFTC. I'm a snake.
I'm a snake.
I told her that I heard her name and she was vaguely remembered someone asking permission to use the story, but she never knew she was mentioned. She was surprised and excited when I told her. I did food my entire career before this, mostly managing pizza shops. And I'm the kind to look at a bug on a page in a book and freak out and close the book. I never imagined this would be an industry I'd end up in. But the owners here had a similar sense of humor as the show, and it's gotten me a bit more familiar with what I'm dealing with. So thank you. That being said, I have my first field day coming up, and to actually go out and be on site for some jobs, and I'm excited and scared at the same time. I'm always asking the techs if my notes are good enough or if they'd like me to ask better questions or things I can do to make things easier, etc. Do you think you could make an episode on admins and maybe things that make your life harder or better to keep me learning as I get used to the industry? Thanks. You know what? That was a great message.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I got to tell you, when I got to, I was in line waiting to get on the boat at Liberty Island to go to Ellis Island when I got this message, and the way it was worded, I'm like, is this some type of scammer or something? Because watched every, it's like we're just nothing to watch. It's just listening. What do you talk about watching? So I was like, my bullshit meter was ticking a little bit, so I started asking some questions. And I'm like, so what episode did you like the most? What did you take away from it, just to see if they actually did it? And they were very astute with the answers to the questions. So I'm like, okay, I kind of relaxed some and ended up chatting with them a bit. So yeah, I think that an admin one would be great. And I told you before the show, I've been meaning to get my old office manager, Shelly. She's not old, just the job was old. Don't hit me, Shelly. And get her on the show during the admin one and get her input from a strictly admin point of view.
I think that would be great. Now, how long has she been doing this?
Since 25 years at least.
25. Oh, she's hard then.
She's seasoned.
She is seasoned. She's like a cast iron skillet. She
Yes,
is
she
seasoned.
is.
She is well seasoned, and nothing sticks to her. Yes,
Oh,
nice, nice. Absolutely. I think that is. I think that is an incredible idea. I mean, we talk all the time. We talk about things like from a technician's point of view. We talk about we cheese on management, we cheese on companies, we cheese on products, we cheese on bugs, we cheese on everything. We haven't. I don't think we've given the admins a fair shake. So I think this would be a great episode to have, to record and get out there for everybody. I think and one of the paragraphs that she put in here, she said, she has her first field day coming up to go out and be on site for some jobs. I think that's a tremendous idea for anybody that does this job. Because it helps give you empathy, gives you an idea of what these guys and gals are going through out there in the field, and it also gives you some one-on-one time in a truck with that admin person as well, so you can kind of get a feel for that. You build a rapport, and then you can kind of grow from that, and so that way guys can bounce questions and whatnot off of each other as you go through your careers. And I think it's great, and I think it just makes each element of this thing of ours better.
It gives you a chance to say, "Don't you fucking call me with this bullshit at 3:00 in the afternoon."
Yeah, and then it gives the technician to say, "Why don't you just go fuck yourself and do your job?" And you both laugh it off afterwards. Because that's what it's all about. It's like telling everybody to go fuck themselves and then laughing it off afterwards. So.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, I had another idea for an episode coming up sometime in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Like we mentioned in the article, with people from all over the world. There's an Australian gentleman and a gentleman from Brazil, and hopefully a couple others that want to get in on a call about international pest control. Because I tell you, I'm especially interested in Australia because everything down there wants to kill you. Yeah. So they got like massive clouds of spiders that hang over an entire neighborhood. So I want to hear about that kind of shit.
Yeah, I had a Nigerian prince want to be on the show too, but I had to give him my bank account number.
Oh yeah, but I'm sorry for whatever unknown relative it was that died that willed you the money.
It was his aunt.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So,
well, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. So some good ideas. I think over the next few days, Jack and I can kind of mull it over and figure out which direction we want to go for the next episode. Yeah. And I once again, thank you everybody for listening. You guys are great. And, so we really appreciate your listening, and, looking forward to future episodes, and looking forward to growing our listenership as well, because, the more we get out there, the hotter we look. So
that's going to take a lot of getting out there and make me look hot.
Exactly. And that's why we work so hard at trying to get the listenership up, because we need all the help we can get.
But thank you as well to PCT Magazine for taking the time to talk to us about this show and getting our little podcast out there for the masses. I think that's awesome.
God love you folks. I put every month's issue on the toilet tank in the restroom at the office, and you guys always get a good read. So thanks again. And so thank everybody. And on behalf of us here at Tales from the Crawl Space Podcast and Pest Control Humor Depot on Facebook, my favorite group, we bid you to bug the hell off.
Bug off.
I'm Mr. Green Christmas. I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Heat Blister. I'm Mr. 101.
Thanks for listening to Tales from the Crawl Space Podcast. You can find us on just about every single podcast outlet there is online. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll have a new episode next week. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram at TFTC Podcast, on Twitter at Crawl Space Tales, and you can also find us on Facebook at the Pest Control Humor Depot. See you next week.